Thanks, Dan. Hi, Mikel.
Good morning.
You're on the verge now of leading your team out at Wembley for your first FA Cup final as a head coach. Can you just describe your emotions ahead of the game?
Yeah, we are very excited. It's such a special day in this country, in this competition. We are a club that is very much linked as well with the amount of time that we've won it. So we want to do it again. For me, obviously, it's so special to be in my first season in charge in a final with the team. And the boys are, again, really excited and looking forward for the game tomorrow.
And how does it compare to 2014? You were captain for that incredible final against Hull City. Do you remember much about your emotions the day before the game? Were there nerves? Was there excitement? How do you remember it?
Mixed emotions. Again, obviously, the club was in a big, long spell without winning any trophies. So we could feel the pressure as well. Obviously, we were the favourites on that final to go and do it. And the game became a little bit crazy right from the start. But the way it ended up, it was great. And after that, we started in a run in the competition.
And talking of that 2014 final, how special of a memory is that in terms of your overall playing career? Is that something that you still think about now?
Absolutely, yes. I've got pictures, I've got memories, I've got a lot of moments that they made that day really, really nice. Obviously, again, I think we have to understand the context of how long the club, I think it was 8 or 10 years without a trophy. And we wanted to do it for everyone, for the club, for our fans, obviously, for Arsene as well, that was handling the situation really well, and we knew as well how important it was for him. And I think it generated, again, a really good connection between the club players and fans. The next day was beautiful, the celebration with all our people in the streets. So, yeah, great memories.
Thanks, Mikel.
Abrahams.
Hi, Mikel. Good morning. How are you?
Hi, Ian.
Chelsea are favourites tomorrow. Not often Arsenal go into an FA Cup final as the underdogs. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. It's a final. The only aim, the only focus, and all our energy is going to be on winning that trophy tomorrow. It doesn't matter where we start. Two big clubs playing each other. Chelsea is in a really good moment. They've come back so far in this season. Where they are playing at a really good level, and we're going to go for it.
David Luiz against his old club, you'll be hoping he puts in the sort of performance he did in the semi-final. And Olivier Giroud, who of course you know from your days at Arsenal as well. Some great stories around this cup final.
It's always good connections when these moments arrive. With Oli, you can see in the last few months how he's performing, the amount of goals he has scored for them. We know him, he's got experience in the finals as well. In the case of David, such a special day again for him to play with his former club. Yes, hopefully he can do the performance that he did against City on the semi-final.
Do you think Olivier Giroud was underappreciated or underrated by Arsenal fans when he played for Arsenal? I never got the impression when I compare him to other great strikers that Arsenal had that they really appreciated how good he was.
Well, I don't know. Probably the standards of those strikers are so high. Probably the demands are incredibly high. But I think the fans show a lot of appreciation to Olivier and as well at the club and the dressing room did at the time.
And finally, from me, you've spoken quite a lot this season about financially going forward for Arsenal. So tomorrow is a big day for them to try and get into Europe because of that. But also for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, still yet to sign a new contract. I mean, if there's European football next season, probably everyone would share your confidence. If there isn't, then maybe they wouldn't. So it's a massive day for the football club and for a lot of the players on display tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't like to talk or link too much these two factors, but it's a reality, obviously, that financially will be really helpful, and obviously in the sporting side as well, because to play in Europe for this club, it's a must, and we've got the opportunity to do both tomorrow.
Good luck tomorrow, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ian. We'll move to Carrie Brown from beIN Sports.
Good morning, Mikel. This is a very special moment for you, but will it be a little less stressful going out into the dugout when you're not up against your former boss, Pep Guardiola?
No, I think it's a final. The pressure is there, the emotions are there, and it's not going to make it any easier. I think we've got a great opponent in front of us, and we've got enough with that.
I want to talk about the opponent in the dugout next to you, Frank Lampard. Both, what do you remember of him as a player that you now see in him as a manager? And the two of you are already being projected as the next maybe Klopp and Guardiola. What's that like to hear? And do you see similarities in your mentality and your playing styles?
Well, about Frank as a player, absolutely top. I think the consistency that he was able to play for that many years in the position he plays, such a big club, and doing what he did, it was incredible. Big credit to him on that. And as a manager, he's shown, since we went to Derby, the kind of person, the ambition that he has, and the way that he encourages his team to play. And again, this season he's done a really good job. We are both young. We are both trying to learn as well our position. So I wouldn't like to compare to the two managers that you mentioned at the moment.
This is the Heads Up FA Cup final. I know that you've spoken to Prince William, the Duke of Cambridge, about connecting with your team and mental health to your team. But as you're going into this big occasion, how important is it to get the mentality of your players right? And who was the biggest coach that influenced you on that, on the mentality to take into a game day, on what you say to them in a dressing room ahead of this final?
Well, first of all, the work that they've done, it's absolutely incredible. It's something that people doesn't really want to talk about it, and it's so important, and sometimes much more important even than the physical aspect, because they are both very much linked. So it's great that such a topic, we can do it openly, and they have given the name to the cup this season. That's first of all. And second one, well, I have so many different managers. If you want to talk about someone that obviously has been an example, or I've seen how to prepare for a final like this, with the experience he has, amount of title that he has won, obviously I have to mention Pep, and of course I have to mention Arsene as well.
And for you, can you remember a team talk before going into the tunnel? How are you going to do it? How much will you talk in that dressing room before these players come out? Do you give them lots of instructions, or do you leave a final thought? What's your preparation? Can you give us an insight what will be done in that dressing room?
I always need to have the feelings of how we are, and I need to smell it a little bit. And then sometimes I will act in a natural way, and sometimes I will have something prepared. But something that is prepared, sometimes when you don't believe that is the right moment to do it, you don't have to do it. So I will see tomorrow how we are, what is needed, and try to top them up.
We've been speaking to your players ahead of this cup final, and they've said that you can make this a destination club, that you will attract players to it, that you've got such a strong bond that you will keep players even if they want to leave, even Aubameyang. What's that like to hear that players are loving playing under you so much, and why are you enjoying this experience?
Well, for me, it's the most important part of the job. But when you are feeling that you are making your players happy, that they are enjoying their profession, that you are really help them to feel how lucky they are to play for this football club and to play the sport that we play. We need connections at the end. The human beings relationship are key on all of that. You need your players to support you, to give the best for you, to give the best for each other. So to hear these things, obviously, it makes me happy, because I have the same feelings towards them.
Jorginho, when Arsenal played against Chelsea in December, pulled back two of your players. You didn't win a penalty. I said to Lacazette, does he need to follow Traore's mark and put baby oil on his arms? Is that something you'll be recommending to your players ahead of this encounter?
No, he's a clever player. He knows what he's doing, and he's part of the competition. So leave it there.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Carrie. We'll move on to John Southall from the BBC.
Let's try again. Mikel, can you hear me now?
Yes.
You can. Hi, good morning. You talk about how you feel as a manager going into a big game like this. Are there different emotions from when you were a player? Do you get nervous before big games, or is it different to when you used to play?
I don't know if he's nervous. It's just you are anxious for the day to come, to play the occasion, to be on that pitch, because all the preparation and obviously the day when you are sitting in the hotel, in the Hilton Hotel next to Wembley, and you see all this atmosphere, families, and you just want to go there on the pitch and start the game and grab that trophy as quick as possible. And it's the same feeling that I have today. I want already to be tomorrow, be there and feel my players and go out there and win that title.
How big would it be to win the FA Cup in your first season for the development of the side you're building at Arsenal?
Well, it generates the trust, obviously, when you win in titles. It generates moments when together you go through good emotions. You know, at the end, brings everybody together. You have memories. There's a lot of things about winning and winning a trophy that is so positive for any group. And when you are in a process, obviously, that makes it even more important. So we have a great opportunity tomorrow. So let's go for it.
You spoke about when you won the FA Cup and celebrating and sharing it with the fans. So how different is it going to be tomorrow? Obviously, you're going to play in front of a vast empty Wembley Stadium, not having supporters there for an FA Cup final.
Well, for me, I always say that is for me the most beautiful day in English football. The last game of the season, everybody's waiting, everybody's watching, and the atmosphere at Wembley with two halves of that stadium with different colors is incredibly beautiful to play, and it's a shame that we cannot enjoy that moment.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. We'll now move to Aidan McGee from Sky Sports.
Good morning, Mikel. What would it mean to you personally to win a trophy so early in your managerial career?
Well, it would be absolutely great. We've worked so hard since I joined here to try to bring this club back to winning titles. So if we can achieve that, I will be delighted. But not for myself. I think for the players and the club, that they've been through some very difficult moments in the last few seasons, and as well for our fans, because they really deserve to give them some joy and nice moments.
Are you surprised at how Olivier Giroud has rebuilt his career in recent months at Arsenal? What kind of threat does he pose to you on the day? Because he wasn't just, as Ian suggested, possibly a little bit underappreciated by Arsenal fans, but I mean, his Chelsea career was going nowhere as well before Christmas.
Well, I'm not surprised because I know Oli and he's a fighter. And even when he was playing for Arsenal, he had some difficult moments, but he always reacts. He always works really hard. Comparing with the greatest is like always, you know, they've done it and they did it for a long period. They were really successful at the club. So any comparison with them is always difficult. I'm glad that he's doing really well. Hopefully tomorrow he won't do that well.
10 points was the difference in the Premier League last season between Arsenal and Chelsea. Do you think that's a fair reflection of the gap in quality between the two teams?
Well, at the end of the day, I always say that the league table doesn't lie too much. You can look at some decision, even on the games that we played together, that we could have the gap a little bit smaller, but they've come a long way. You know, they've done a lot of right things this year. I think Frank has evolved the team in a really positive way, and you can see the results that they've been having.
You've spoken about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang previously, but in your heart, do you fear that this might be his last game in an Arsenal shirt?
No, I don't have that feeling.
You said that beautiful moments like possibly winning the FA Cup might be enough to keep him there, but is this a big enough competition to influence his decision for next season?
No, what I said is it's a package at the end. You need to have a lot of ingredients on the table to persuade a player of his level to be at this football club. Don't forget that he still has a contract here with us. We wanted to keep him and do it in a more long term, but at the moment he's with us, and I think he should be really proud of where he is as well.
Can we expect something similar tactically from your team compared to what we saw against Manchester City? Because I think it surprised a lot of people the way you played and the success that it brought.
It's a final. It's a different game. It's a different opponent with different qualities, so you cannot approach the game in the same way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aidan. We'll now move to Mark Mann-Bryans from the Press Association.
Morning, Mikel.
Yeah.
Just wondered if I could check. Did you watch the Europa League final last year?
Yes, I did.
What gives you the confidence that there'll be a different outcome in this final to that one last year?
Because a year in football is a different life already. Even 2 weeks sometimes or 3 days later, you can see a team performing in a way and then can be a different team. So I think there is not many things to get from that.
Have you felt the need to talk to the squad about last year's final ahead of this one at all?
No.
Could I also check, obviously you played under the most successful manager in the history of the FA Cup in Arsene. Has he been in touch at all ahead of the final?
No, I haven't been in touch with him. I've been in touch in the last few months a few times with him, but not before the final.
Obviously, we get told pretty much every year the FA Cup means less and less every season, but to him in particular, he put a lot of importance on the FA Cup. Did that rub off on you? So obviously you hold it in as high regard as he did.
Well, I know what managers think about the FA Cup right now and how difficult it is in the league to win a title. To win the Premier League is only one team, so every trophy becomes massive, and you can see how the competition has evolved. Like the teams, the type of lineups that they used to do before, the type of lineups now, and the importance of everybody's doing. Look at the semi-finals, the teams that were involved. If you compare that with years ago, it's pretty different. So I think that's a good way to measure how the clubs and managers are giving the importance to the competition.
And Chelsea, obviously, they finished fourth in the Premier League, so they're assured of European football next year. So in that regard, there's a little bit less pressure on them tomorrow. How much do you have to make sure your players are focused only on winning the cup rather than what that would mean for next season?
We have to play the game and try to win the game, perform at the highest level. We know the opponent we're going to have in front of us there, and the rest is a consequence of our performance and what we do on the day. That's it.
Great. Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. We'll now move to Nick Callow from Haters.
Hi, Mikel. Just want to talk a bit more about the differences between you and Chelsea. You've spoken in recent weeks about trying to close the gap to Liverpool and Man City. It would seem on paper, the players and the current squad, there's not a lot to choose between the two clubs. But in terms of finance and structure and recruitment, is it quite a big gap between you and Chelsea?
Well, I don't know how they are structured, what the resources are for them. Obviously, you can see the squad that they have at the moment and the amount of players that they have, the quality of the players that they have, and the good work that they are doing. So we have some really good players as well. We are a good squad. We are an incredible club. So I think we are both in a good position.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that. You're talking about some of the cup final traditions. Obviously, there's not many you can have this year. Emi Martinez was saying that he's going to miss not being able to see his parents and his brother and other members of his family at Wembley. Who are you going to be missing this weekend? Have you got people coming to England to see you? Or?
No, nobody's coming to the game. Obviously, my wife, my kids, my family. Every time I've been in that competition, whether it was as a player or was a part of a coaching staff, I always have my family there. It gives a lot of energy, and the fact that they are there enjoying that day, it makes it even more special. So I think we're all going to miss that part.
So are your family planning to have a cup final party at home or anything like that?
Yeah, they will do it at home for sure, yes.
And what will you do with the players afterwards? Will they just all have a shower and all go home, or is there plans to meet up at the training ground? Or
what we have to do is win it, and then we will enjoy together. But let's win it.
All right. Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Now Simon Collins from the Evening Standard.
Hi, Mikel.
Hello.
Can you just give us a bit of an insight into what those conversations with Arsene were about and what you were discussing?
No, it's private conversation. It's great to have him on board. He gives you great advice, and just talking to him, he's got such a knowledge. He's such an intelligent person that just knowing that he's there and he's going to be supporting us and supporting me, I feel calmer.
As someone to talk to about Arsenal, he's about as good a sounding board as you could have in the business, I guess.
I think in football world that you can talk about anything with him, and you just have to learn, get the book out and take some notes.
And you were speaking about Oba, how it's all about the whole package, but you know what it's like to be wearing that armband at Wembley, to be lifting the FA Cup. Surely something like that for Pierre to experience would make him think that this is the place for him to be.
Absolutely. I think that has a strong link with everything that you want to experience as a player. And the fact that winning a trophy helps, to really believe and feel, wow, I want one or more of those moments as well. If you are wearing the armband and you are able to lift that cup, it's such a moment, and this is going to help for sure.
And just lastly, I know you spoke earlier this week, I think, in an interview saying you're looking to add to your coaching staff this summer. Have you got any names in mind? Because we're hearing things about Dennis Bergkamp and someone like that coming back to the club. Is there anything you can tell us on that front?
At the end of the season, we will talk about it.
Thanks, Mikel.